So these are my seats. They're out of a Honda Civic, I think. Pretty firm, nice. Showing you the bottom side, this is what I'm dealing with. So these are the original mounting brackets from Honda to fit their chassis. But if you notice, they're nice flat rails. So once you get rid of those brackets, you can see they're riveted down in there. I think you can see that. My camera will decide to do something good. So I'm cutting those rivets out with the die grinder, and then I went and made these brackets. So basically they're flat bottom, all four on the same plane, and then I'm TIG welding them to the brackets so you can kind of see them there, hopefully. And then I just custom make holes in the floor to make those fit. Looks simple, takes forever, but that works out pretty good. Okay, so here I am going and starting to cut off the Honda feet. You can see I'm using an abrasive cutoff wheel, and I've got a welding blanket shield around the upholstery so I don't melt it while I'm doing that. Then go after the rivet with a die grinder, then more cutting, a little bit of hammering, more cutting, and eventually success. A little bit more cutting to flatten everything out, get it prepared, and voila, back to a seat. Now I go through, and you notice I don't have the welding shield on here. TIG welding is great for this particular application because it doesn't spit out sparks and things like that, so I'm only a few inches away from upholstery and there's no problems. The one thing you'll notice is there's a ton of smoke coming out because the seat tracks have grease in them so that they slide nicely. So the grease is on the inside melting but not affecting my welds. TIG's wonderful for this. Now I've got the car mocked up, or the seat mocked up in the car. I've already got two front holes. Those were flat. They just went straight into the floor. I welded a reinforcement panel around them, but they just sat straight in there. Now I've got some 2-inch wide stock that I'm going to be making these brackets out of. So I cut some 2-inch wide strips of cardboard and just keep working them around, mark them like that, mark them to the contour of the floor, cut them out, and there you go. Now I've got a pattern. Lay it out onto some steel. This is that 2-inch steel I was talking about. Get the hole all set, drill a hole in there, take the grinding wheel and contour them. There's nothing real precise to this because you're just going to keep trial and error, get it to fit to the contour of the floor, get it fairly close. There you go. Now cut it off, and voila, you got to break it. Now I'm going to put the bend in it so it'll fit to the floor, so the top of this thing's going to be nice and flat and the seat will sit on that. You can see here I've got both of them made. Set them in there, test them out, put a bolt, make sure they sit fairly flat, fairly nice. What I'll do is I'll actually weld a bolt sticking up from the bottom when I'm done, so there'll be two studs sticking up for the seat to bolt onto. Mark them around so I can clean the paint off the floor and weld them in, and there you go. Okay, so this is the finished product. Seems pretty comfortable for me. It's a little higher than I wish, but I actually measured the height of the stock bench where it would be, and it's actually the same. Still, it would be a little bit nicer to be a touch lower, but not bad. Fairly comfortable. I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm going to look for a shifter handle that comes back a little bit further. 5th gear is going to be a bit of a stretch, but overall, not bad. Need to get a new headliner so it's not dropping in my head, and ready to rock and roll. Time for seat number 2.